I can smell Islay. And I've got the sound of Islay. Welcome to another episode of Erik Wait Whiskey Studies, and in this video I'm going to do a review of the Caol Ila 12-year-old Islay single malt Scotch whiskey. Now, I was doing a little pun there. Yes, I can smell Islay, but Caol Ila means sound of Islay, but it's not referring to, of course, there'll be a reverberation on your eardrum, but rather the body of water between Caol Ila Distillery and Jura, the water that flows by there, which I actually was able to stand at. It's one of the most spectacular views from Islay when I visited in June 2018. But before I get into this whiskey, here are my notes. Caol Ila 12-year-old Islay single malt Scotch whiskey. Made from 100% malted barley, it is aged in ex-bourbon cask for at least 12 years. It is bottled at 43% alcohol by volume and sells anywhere between $59 and $70 here in the United States. Alrighty, so Caol Ila, about 90% of what they produce goes into blends. It's owned by Diageo, a major conglomerate distillery. So they do official editions, they do an unpeated, and occasionally they do like a much younger, at a higher ABV, like a 10-year-old. This is sort of really basically their core range bottle. They don't have a large core range of single bottles. And really what you're getting here is probably a whiskey that would otherwise be intended to go into a blend. So it provides a really, really good base and sort of a backbone for a blended whiskey. But on its own, it's not overly complex. There's not a whole lot going on there, but it is a good whiskey. So on the nose, obviously the peat and the smoke is there, a little bit of a chocolate note. Fruit notes, I get like a pear, apple, and quince. Perhaps a little bit of a tropical note as well. Not a whole lot of saltiness. From a lot of Islay distilleries, I get a saltiness, and I'm not getting it here, and I don't know if it's because it's just not there, or are they aging their whiskey somewhere else? If 90% of their whiskey goes into blends, and they are the largest producer on Islay, then it might make sense that they don't have enough room really to store all their casks, so they're probably aging it on the mainland, and consequently you don't get that salty character. All right, on the palate. One more. So it's not a major mind-blowing whiskey. Fairly simple, sort of basic, sort of entry level for Islay. It's got the chocolate and the peat and the smoke going from the front to the middle and into the finish. The fruit, at least, I would say, is evenly balanced with the smoke and peat. So you're not getting a smack upside the head with smoke and peat. There's enough fruit character there to sort of carry its own and be well balanced. So what I get in the front, the middle, and the finish is basically the same. You get like apples and pears, maybe a little bit of tropical note. You get a little bit of quince, and it goes all the way through. So there's not a whole lot of evolution in there. There's not necessarily a lot of depth as well. But it's a solid, good whiskey. Would I recommend it? There's a couple different reasons why I would recommend this whiskey. Number one, if you're new to Islay and you're wanting to explore and you don't want to spend a ton of money, this is sort of a good foot in the door to sort of get an understanding of the character of Islay. Number two, if you want to do home blends, in other words, you're looking for a whiskey that will add a good solid base, a foundation for peat, on which you can then fill in other layers of flavor, I would probably go with Caol Ila. Caol Ila is, for a very good reason, produced the way it is in order to provide a really good solid base and those peaty notes in a blend whiskey. So if you're into making your own whiskeys, your own whiskey blends, and you just need something that's going to add that accent of smoke and peat, this is probably the one I would recommend. It doesn't break the bank, and it's fairly solid and really reliable and widely available. What would I give it in terms of score? I'm going to go solid 87 points. 87 points. A good, solid whiskey, not mind-blowing, but worth having in your collection. All right, if you're one of my Patreons, I want to thank you very much. And if you're not a Patreon, highly recommend becoming one, because I am providing behind-the-scenes videos, uncorking videos, and other content for my patrons, and I'm not putting on this channel. So for only, $1 a month or so, you become a Patreon and get access to the extra content, and there'll be more to come on the channel. If you're a subscriber, I want to thank you very much. If you aren't yet a subscriber, I would highly recommend that you do, so you can keep enjoying the content that I provide, continue to learn about whiskeys, and give this video a thumbs up. All right, that's it for now. Slanjiva, and cheers. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and check out these other whiskey videos.